Welcome back to Do You Accept This Rose? We didn't film an episode last week solely for the purpose that we were too tired. So we're back here today. We're going to talk about last week's episode and this week's episode. So week 4 and week 5. Let's just jump right into week 4 because we have a lot to cover. Yes. And Bailey needs to go eat dinner. It starts with the group date and Sarah with an H literally just left. Victoria is continuously just trash talking and Katie tells her to stop and Victoria tells her to shut up.
Yeah.
That's literally what happens. I'm not even simplifying it.
Literally don't remember any of this.
No. I'll just keep chugging along.
Yeah,
the group date was basically just a cocktail party because all they did was drink and talk. I think that's when they went to that weird cabin and they literally just sat down. That was the whole date.
Yes. Okay, so, got it. Locked in.
He pulls Chelsea aside and she opens up. I do remember this part. Basically.
Yes.
He really appreciates her, just being
honest
vulnerable
and
honest.
Open, yeah.
So she ends up getting the rose. Then, meanwhile, at the house, Katie and Victoria are still fighting with each other. And Victoria demands an apology from her and is like, you shut me down from expressing myself.
Yeah.
And Katie's like, how is being mean expressing yourself? So she refuses to apologize to Victoria.
Victoria is just the absolute worst.
She really is.
Yeah.
Part of me thinks that she's putting on an act, and then another part of me is you can't fake this.
No, you can't make that up.
No. She was on Good Morning America.
Doing what?
As a guest.
Why were they oh yeah, this is a good person to greet America in the morning? You know?
Greet America.
She's like, good morning, America. This is my black bra.
Oh my God. But she was on, and they were I don't know, they were treating her like she was a good celebrity
person.
Ooh. They were were things taken out of context, things that you said, and Victoria was yeah, I'm not actually that mean, and they were just oh yeah,
that's not a good look for Good Morning America.
You're giving her a platform.
Yeah, not a good look.
So then we go to the rose ceremony, and 5 new girls arrive.
Oh, right. Yeah. So Chris Harrison pulls Matt aside when he's talking to Victoria.
Yeah.
And it's hey, I have a surprise for you. So they go outside and these 5 new girls walk in. And this is when it kind of stems in the house, the OG versus the new girls. And they're varsity versus JV kind of vibes because the girls that have been there for a couple weeks kind of feel entitled to Matt's time, which is kind of what happened with Tasia a little bit.
Yeah.
But it was a little bit different just because it's she hadn't met anyone yet.
Yeah.
Whereas Matt knows people.
And
if anything, the new girls should feel they've been gypped out of time.
Yeah, the old girls have no reason to be upset.
No.
And with Tasia, the guys were upset for 1 episode, and then they kind of just moved on. I feel
these girls have been upset for a while. The thing I do the one girl I do vibe with is Katie. And Katie being you know what? If there are new girls coming in, I want Matt to explore those options because I don't want it to be him proposing to me at the end of it and him questioning whether or not he should have tried. Was that about Sarah? That was about Sarah. Sorry.
That wasn't about Sarah.
Nix that out.
But Katie was okay with the new girls.
Yeah, exactly. We love a queen, Katie. Anyway.
My feelings for Katie are akin to my feelings for Tasia.
Yeah.
She is a queen.
Yeah, literally. So they all the old girls start to bully the new girls, and the new girls are oh, this is really uncomfortable, whatever. Turns out that why do I keep wanting to call him Peter? And that's not his name.
Matt?
Yeah. And then Matt, when he's giving out roses, gives out 4 roses to the new girls. So 4 out of the 5 new girls stay. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that many people went home. There's a lot of girls left at this point.
Yeah, who went home in this ceremony, I don't even remember. It was probably
like
the few remaining that didn't get screen time.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, I feel like it's important to note that the reason why they specifically all hated Brittany, one of the new girls, is because she immediately made out with Matt as soon as she got out of the limo.
Yeah. Because she was like, let's make up for lost time.
Which, like, I thought was funny. Like, good for you, girl.
Yeah.
Make a statement.
Yeah, if you can be that confident, you might as well go for it, you know?
Yeah, and immediately upon meeting Michelle, who was a teacher, I loved her. She just was really sweet.
Yeah.
And then Catalina was in a tiara because she was like Miss Puerto Rico or something.
Yeah.
And Victoria was like, that's my crown, and took it.
Oh, she's so freaking annoying.
So that was that rose ceremony. Then we go into the group date, which is like an obstacle course.
Like in the woods.
Yeah.
Or like in a field. I don't even know. It starts out there like canoeing and like pumpkins.
Which, how were those real? Those are huge.
They were also like really buoyant.
They were. Yeah, like as soon as they came around the corner and those were floating in the water, I was like, that is not safe. But then they got in. And
I think the thing that made me laugh the most, it's like the rest of the group date's pretty much irrelevant, like the activity part of it. But like Maggie got stuck in the pumpkin and like couldn't canoe her way to the other side. So she literally, I wonder like how she eventually like got out of it. Do you think she like
someone probably had to go in like a different boat and like get her,
pull her? Oh, I was laughing so hard about
like,
that.
No one helped her, and then Matt eventually like moved on and like went for the other girls.
Yeah, it was
So
like getting dark out, and Maggie's like still canoeing her way through it.
Yeah. So, Brittany is on this date, one of the new girls. Mm-hmm. And she tries to steal Matt when he's talking to Anna, which makes Anna upset. Anna is the one with the crazy teeth.
Yeah.
And since Anna gets so upset that she dare to ask to speak to Matt, she goes and tells she tells Victoria, I think.
Which is like not the right person to tell.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure that Brittany is an escort, and then asks Brittany in front of the whole group date, like, are you an escort? And she's like, no.
Yeah.
So that gets a little crazy.
Yeah.
And then Bree gets the group date rose. I don't know if I remember who Bree is.
Yes, you do. It's the girl that he went on the first one-on-one date with.
Oh, yep. Oh, yeah, she's cute.
Yeah. I just feel like their names out of context are a little bit hard, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we go to the one-on-one with Michelle, who's like super cute. Michelle is the teacher. She's one of the new girls, which a lot of people are upset that like a new girl got a one-on-one before like some of the older girls even got a one-on-one, but like that's fine. They like did this like cute little like scavenger hunt, and they had to go zip lining, and they got to go in like a tethered hot air balloon. Like it was cute, very like picturesque.
Yeah, it was really romantic.
And they just like seemed like Matt really seemed to like vibe with her.
Yeah, and she's like age appropriate.
Height appropriate.
Yeah. Just mature.
It seems like she's not just like in it to get fame because she's a teacher, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas some of the other girls, I'm like, you definitely just want to be an influencer.
Yeah, like I think that you can tell that she doesn't really want to be involved in anything else besides just like, I'm here to date this man.
Yeah.
That's
the thing that does mess her up a little bit though is like she gets there and immediately gets a one-on-one. So she never knows what it's like to like watch him with other girls.
Oh yeah.
If that makes sense. So like her seeing him interact with like other girls is weird because she was like, oh, like I just thought it was just us two dating from like the time they first started hanging out. But like other than that, them two got along really well.
She gets the rose.
And then they go to, oh, I forgot about this group date. The next group date is when they like go boxing. And they have like two people pegged up against each other, which is like, I don't get why they keep doing these like physical challenges. Like people continue to get hurt.
Like what is gained from this?
I literally don't know.
Nothing. Besides like just people actually getting hurt and like people just getting more angry at each other than they already were.
Yeah.
It doesn't bring you any closer to Matt. You're not even spending time with him.
Yeah.
You're spending time with your boxing partner. So one of them does like straight up get like punched in the nose.
Yeah.
And Matt shuts down the date.
Yeah, which is like he should have just shut it down to begin with, but that's fine.
And then
the big thing that happened after this date is like Katie's kind of like, I'm so over people being like old and new girls. So he ends up going and talking to Matt. She goes to talk to Matt like after the group date and was like, hey, I just want to let you know, like there's a lot of tension in the house. Like people are not accepting of the new girls. Like there's some talks that Brittany is an escort and it's like that could ruin her life. Like you have to be the one that like puts this to rest. She's like, I've tried.
Yeah.
I got laughed at. Like, you have to be the one. So Matt's like, yeah. Like, locked in.
And she didn't even name names, which was, like, nice.
Yeah. She was just like, this is happening. Like, you got to figure it out.
So then, well, that's when week 4 ended on a big cliffhanger. They love the cliffhangers this season.
Literally.
Week 5 kicks off immediately with the cocktail party. And Matt comes in and is all serious and is like, bullying will not be tolerated. It was like, I've heard that it's very toxic in here and that there's rumors going around that could ruin someone's life. And everyone, like, looks at Brittany. So then he takes Brittany aside and she's, like, all upset. And I think, does she say it was Anna?
Yeah, because otherwise, how would they know, you know? She definitely says it's Anna. She's like, Anna is spreading a rumor that I'm an escort.
Yeah. And then Anna suddenly is like, it was just out of character, like I didn't mean it, like it was just like a weird moment for me.
Also like with this weird hairstyle going on.
Yeah.
I was like, what is that? Anyway, so Matt's like, you know what, Anna, like, well, this is not gonna work. Like, I don't tolerate this. Like, you should never have said it. I'm sending you home.
Yep.
So Anna gets home, gets sent home. Victoria's like pissed.
Yes.
Victoria's like, this is ridiculous that like he's like listening to this drama, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. And then everyone starts apologizing to the new girls because they were like basically afraid that they're going to get in trouble if they don't. And I think it's like Catalina who to the camera is like, I know none of them mean it. Like they only started apologizing when he called them out for it.
Yeah.
So, and then Ryan, who's also one of the new girls, who is a dancer, who we haven't really seen much of besides this, but she tells Matt that Victoria called her, I don't know if I can say it. They call her something mean based on the fact that she's a dancer. So then Victoria's like, that was out of context. And Matt was like, in what context is that okay? So then she goes off and cries to the producers, who are apparently like her only friends on this set, and is like loudly insulting all of the girls, not even just the new ones now, and they can all hear her.
She's like a literal mess. So then like they end up having the rose ceremony and like Victoria goes home and like typically you like hug someone and be like, thank you, like I wish you the best. Like Victoria's like, you don't deserve a hug, Matt, like how dare you, and like storms off.
And like no one says anything, like including the girls.
Everyone's like, and the only other person that went home that I was like sad about was Mari.
Yeah, which one? I keep thinking of Maggie.
No, Mari's like had this like long brown hair, like sleek. She's like, we liked her like a couple weeks ago. I don't know how to describe her.
Doesn't she like kind of look like Rachel? Like
a little bit, yeah.
Okay. Oh, I didn't realize she went home.
Yeah.
Dang it.
Yeah, so she goes home. Speaking of Rachel, though, Rachel gets the one-on-one. So she's 24, and like this butler comes in and was like, Rachel, like I will escort you to go see Matt. And they take her on like this shopping spree date.
Which, how is that fun for Matt?
Also, like, how is that fair? She gets all this free stuff. She had a free pair of Louboutins. Those are like $700 or $800.
I don't know anything about shoes, but I did know that red bottoms means they're expensive.
Yeah.
And when he pulled those out, I was like, are you serious?
Yeah. So she got a new pair of shoes. She got like a couple dresses, like got a bunch of stuff. So I'm like, and she walks in with like 10 shopping bags.
I thought it was like kind of messed up that they have her like go into the room with all the other girls so they all see it. And then she left it in that room because she's like, well, I gotta get it ready for dinner, and like leaves all the stuff with all the girls. I was like,
probably so they can like look at all of it. That's weird. But so she changes into like the dress that like she was gifted, I guess, and they do like a night portion of the date.
They're both falling in love with each other.
Yeah, like he tells her that he's falling in love with her, which I'm like, I don't know if that's allowed, but.
And he's driving me crazy because we know nothing about him. He says the same thing to every girl. He does the same thing. He just touches their knee and kisses them.
Yeah. And, like, he touches their, like, head. He's a big, like, when he kisses them, he, like, touches their...
Oh, my God. And he'll, like, cut them off from speaking to kiss them. I'm like, rude, dude.
Yeah.
You don't even know these girls.
Yeah. It's just not into it, but that's fine.
So she gets the rose. Rachel also has, like, an interesting, like, controversial, like, past that maybe we can get into, like, next week.
Yeah.
When we have more time.
Basically, what we've seen on, like, social media is that, like, Rachel has liked some stuff, is friends with some people that, like, promote, like, racist comments and groups.
Like, hateful groups.
Yeah. Not a good look.
Not a great look going into...
And also, like, she's, like, a front runner right now. So it's, like, that's really, like, not cute. Yeah,
you sent me an Instagram thing saying that, like, maybe she's the one that he proposes to. Because she's always, like, hiding her left hand.
Yeah, so, like...
So imagine.
And she's also the one that was, like, in high school, was, like, I would never date someone of color. And now is, like...
And apparently is just, in general, like, a bully. Or was a bully, at least.
And I get people change, but I guess, like, some of the stuff she's done has been, like, pretty recent.
Some of it was college. And I mean, like...
She's 24.
Yeah, like, that was, like, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
If even.
Yeah, not a good look. Anyways,
then we have the group date, which is at a farm.
This date was, like, the weirdest.
I hated it.
Like, the weirdest thing ever.
I, like, kind of zoned out for most of this date, I'm being completely honest.
Yeah, I just remember, like, MJ is trying too hard to, like, stand out. So MJ is, like, volunteering to, like, utter the, what's that called? To milk the goats or whatever. And then she's trying to, like, get eggs and all. She's just, like, trying too hard, and it's, like, coming off as not cute.
She's that girl who it's, like, they think that loud means funny. Like, if I'm really loud, then that's funny. Yeah. It's like, no, you're just being loud.
Yeah. That's good.
And Piper, who I did not know that was her name until this episode.
It's spelled a different way. Pieper.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're spelling it like my dog.
Piper sneaks away to, like, make out with Matt when he's, like, doing one of his, like, one-on-one, like...
No, I thought she was doing her confessional, and he sneaks in and kisses her.
Is that what it was? I wasn't looking. Anyways, they make out, and all the other girls see it.
And I'm also like, who are you?
Yeah, like, why was he, like, drawn to her? Like, they barely know each other.
I mean, in our eyes, I'm like, who is this Piper chick?
Like, maybe we're just missing something.
I don't know, dude. I literally could not recall one conversation they've had, and all of a sudden they're having, like, a very passionate makeout session.
And he's like, you're gonna get me in trouble. It's like, oh, gross.
Yeah, not
Then
cute.
we go on to the nighttime portion. And Abigail reemerges after, like, 4 weeks of not being in the episodes and is like, I'm not feeling as confident about us anymore because, like, I haven't seen you.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, like, don't worry, like, you're fine, like, you're good. And then she also is like, I'm a little nervous that you're going to push me away because, like, if I have children one day, they might be deaf, and, like, I don't
Didn't her dad leave?
Her dad left because her and her sister were deaf.
That's, like, really messed up.
Yeah.
The thing that annoyed me about that was Matt's reaction to it. Like, Matt was never, like, I get, like, it's the first time he's hearing it. He's kind of digesting, like, am I gonna be, like, okay to do that? Mm-hmm. But it's also, he just was like, oh, like, thank you for opening up to me about that. Like, he never, I mean, maybe he did respond in a different way, but he, like, from our end, she just was, like, really vulnerable. And, like, he was just like, thank you for opening up to me. Not like, oh, like, I'll be there for you. If you are the one, like, I will have, like, it doesn't matter what our kids, like, if they're deaf, if they're not deaf, like.
Mm-hmm. It's like he's reading a script of, like, things that, like,
it just was, like, kind of, it was, like, ingenuine from him. Like, it just didn't feel like he was. It was like he was happy she was opening up, but, like, he wasn't opening up about I don't know.
Yeah, like, I feel like she walked away from that, like, not feeling very, like,
reassured. Yeah, exactly. But then she gets the rose.
Yeah, so he's confusing.
The other things that, which I was talking about earlier on the group date, is like Michelle feels like it's weird for her to get on a group date because like she was on a one-on-one last week, and it's like weird to see him with other girls, and he's like, no, I totally get that, like I'm here for you.
Yeah,
which is what he's saying to everyone. And then he ends up confronting MJ about like her being like a toxic person in the group.
Yeah, and he was like, he specifically quoted the JV varsity thing because MJ's the one who said that. And then she goes out and is like, who told him? And Jasenia was like, oh, it was me, like very confidently. And then Katie backs her up, and then MJ's like really mad. And she's just awful.
I just like, it's funny because I like really did vibe with her at first.
Me too.
Remember we were like, oh my God, she's going to be so free spirit.
Yes.
Now I'm like, you're just rude.
I was talking to Jenny, I think it was that today? No, it was yesterday. And I was like, I feel like Victoria was like mean, but like laughably mean. Like you could tell she just wanted attention.
Yeah.
And then Anna was more of just kind of like dumb. Like she just like said things without thinking. Mm-hmm. But like MJ is just straight up like nasty.
Yeah.
Like the stuff that she was started to say to Jasenia, I'm like, you say that when you want to hurt someone's feelings.
Yeah. Like she knew what she was saying.
Yeah. So then that kind of happens. Then the next thing is when Abigail gets the group date rose.
Yeah.
And then there's a one-on-one with Kit, who was 21, 8 years younger than Matt.
That is crazy to me.
And I thought it was funny that she didn't even get like a daytime part.
She just got the nighttime part, which she was like low-key crying about. She's like, I told him how much I love to cook with my mom. And then if he thought of this, and I'm like, the producers thought of that,
yeah,
first
like,
of all.
He has no idea.
He doesn't even know your name.
Yeah.
That's not true, but like, you know what I mean?
Oh my God.
So she goes over to his place and they like cook together. Or like they bake, I don't know. And she was just like so happy.
And like that was really it.
Like I feel like I don't really remember like
much. Oh my goodness. At one point she's like, you know, growing up the daughter of a really successful fashion designer, like I grew up around like golden Bentleys, and like started just listing very rich, lavish things, and was like, it taught me to put walls up because I'm in the spotlight. And I was like, girl, what?
And then people were like, well, why did you then go in the spotlight to find love?
Yeah. And like, how much of a spotlight do you really have? You're the daughter of a fashion designer. Like, that's not like you're like Brad Pitt. Like,
I just like, I feel like, and her mom is Cynthia Rowley. Sarah has a towel by Cynthia Rowley.
I do. It has my initials engraved in it. Engraved, not engraved.
Really?
Sewed into it. Yeah. Lily gave them to me when I went to college.
Oh, I got one of those too. That's a Cynthia Rowley towel?
Yeah. Unless yours is a different brand.
I think I'll have to look.
Unless I got lucky with my Cynthia Rowley towel.
I have to look. I don't know if I've ever used that towel. I don't think I've ever used it.
Yeah, it's like a thick, big towel.
Oh, I'll have to look.
Good job, Cynthia Rowley. I guess I have to root for Kit now. I'm using her towel.
She makes a good towel. Yeah, so Kit gets the rose, like, awesome. Like, I really, again, we don't know anything else about Matt. Like, nothing more.
No.
The way this episode ends, though, is they go to the cocktail party, and Chris Harrison was like, okay, like, I have one more card. Or they're not at the cocktail party. They're, like before the cocktail party. Chris Harrison shows up, and it's, like, a date card. It's for Jasenia. I did not pronounce that right, did I?
No, you did.
Jasenia?
Yeah.
It sounds odd to me.
Jasenia? I think
Jasenia?
Yeah. Jasenia.
Her and MJ to meet with Matt before the cocktail party to discuss, like, what's happening and, like, clear the air. Mm-hmm. I don't know if, like, one of them goes home.
I feel like one of them will, and it's probably going to be Jasenia, because it's always usually the person who is, like, the nice one.
In the right, yeah.
Yeah. So it, like, ends with them getting ready, and, like, they're sitting in a room waiting for him. And, like, MJ is just, like, going at Jasenia.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, like, she's giving it back, but, like, not, like, she's just, like, she's not being mean in return.
Yeah.
She's just, like, defending herself.
Yeah.
And then the episode ends.
They keep leaving us on these, like, cliffhangers.
Like, we did a rose ceremony, like, once every 2.5 weeks.
I know. Where they send home one person.
Yes. Like, this season is going to be 5 months long.
There's still, like, 15 girls left, and they're like, we're halfway through. I was like, how is that possible?
Do you have any favorites at this point?
Like, if I didn't know about Rachel's backstory and I was just watching from, like, solely just watching the show, I would say Rachel. I also really like Michelle.
Yeah.
I don't think Abigail's gonna make it.
No, I think that she's, like, too sweet.
I think she's, like, kind of fizzling out a little bit.
I think so.
I like Katie. I don't know how far she's gonna get, but I like her. What's the girl that went on the date last week?
Sydney?
Serena?
Serena. That's what it is. I do like Serena.
Is there a Sydney?
No. Serena, Michelle, Katie, and I like Jasenia.
I just don't think she's gonna get far.
No. I remember I tried to explain to you in our first episode of this that I liked Jasenia, but I didn't know her name at the time, and I was like, she looks like 3 other girls on the show.
I also, like, looked like Jasenia only has, like, like 20,000 followers on Instagram, whereas the rest of them have, like, a lot more. So I feel like that shows she's, like, not a fan favorite.
She's just, like, boring.
Yeah.
I mean, she's not really ever been, she hasn't gotten a lot of screen time. I've just always noticed her and been like, I feel like if you're quiet, you're normal, and you're pretty.
I also, like, so there's Chelsea.
But she kind of got in on the bullying.
I kind of got weird vibes from her.
Yeah, like she was, like, laughing really hard when they were, like, making
yeah,
fun of the
so I'm
new
down on
girls.
Chelsea. I'm down on Chelsea.
I did like her. I thought that she was going to be one of the good ones. And I guess she still can be. I just thought it was a little, wasn't a good look.
And, like, Kit, I think Kit will go far.
I feel like she's going to go far. I think Matt clearly has a type, and it is young. Okay, the thing about Kit is, like, I don't, like her. I don't want her. But there's something about her that I'm like, you're funny. Like, and I don't think you're trying to be. She just kills me. And I think it might just be because she looks like Queen's Gambit.
But also the American Girl doll.
Yes. Oh, man.
So, yeah, that's where we're at. Things might change next week. I mean, I don't know. I honestly...
Next week we'll find out if MJ goes home or stays, and maybe we'll have a better idea of the ethics of the other girls. Maybe they're good people, maybe they're not. We'll find out.
Yeah, and hopefully we're not too tired.
I know, maybe you won't hear from us at all. Maybe you won't hear from us ever again. Oh my goodness, we need to end this.
And in that case, buy us a coffee.
Yes.
Our fans.
Okay, we'll see you next time.
Thanks.
Bye.